some of our upcoming events. You'll notice that our July Meaningful Mondays got moved from 4th of July to the next Monday, July 11th, to discuss chapters 2 and 3 of the Holy Envy. And we'll hear more about these other events.
Because this campaign is paying homage to the old and the new, we think about the then and the now of a movement. We're bridging the gap between 1968 and 2018, which is 50 years of just revolution and 50 years of activism. So we also incorporated a new part that incorporates hip hop, a little hip hop aspect to it. So to bring the old with the new. So when we get to that, we'll teach you how the words flow and go.
So your words are first, everybody's got a right to live. And before this campaign fails, we'll all go down to jail. Because everybody has a right to live. You got that?
You got that.
All right.
And so then the second part will be everybody's got a right to live, and then you all will say to live. And then everybody's got a right to love. To love. Everybody's got a right to dream. To dream. Everybody's got a right to learn. To learn. Got it? All right.
Here we go.
Everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to live. And before this campaign fails, we'll all go down to jail. Everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to live. To live. Everybody's got a right to dream. To dream. Everybody's got a right to love. To love. Everybody's got a right to learn. To learn. Everybody's got a right to live. To live. Everybody's got a right to do. Everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to live. And before this campaign fails, we'll all go down to jail. Everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to
The Poor People's Campaign is meeting in Washington, D.C. For a national mass movement and march in Washington, D.C. So that's why it's important for us to hear that. And our meeting today, June 9th, we're grateful that you're here as the elected council. Reverend Julius is going to be our moderator, and he's going to get us moving.
Good morning, everyone. Once again, I'm Reverend Julius Vanhook, and I will be moderating today. First, we'll start by approving the May 12th minutes. Is there a motion that we approve the May 12th minutes? Is there a second?
Julius?
Yeah.
Hi, this is Sharon Campton, and I'm sorry, I just realized my last name is spelled incorrectly.
Okay, I'll make note of that.
So thank you so much. I'm sorry I didn't catch that before now.
All right, it's all right. May we get a second on the minutes?
Oh, I'd also like to know my last name has been dropped.
We'll add Reverend Spearman's last name to the list as well.
All right. All in favor? Any opposed? Seeing that we have none opposed, minutes are approved. Next, we will have our land acknowledgement and our opening statement by the Reverend Will McGarvey.
Thanks, everyone. Looking for the cursor. Our land acknowledgement today will recognize that we are on the unceded lands of Chochenyo, Bemiwak, Karkin, and Tachiyokut's people, all of whom have their own relationship with Tuishtak, which is the Ohlone name for Mount D. And we recognize that we are on these unceded lands and that they were taken by force from these peoples. And many of them were put into concentration camps, is the way that many of them talk about the histories that passed down from their grandparents and great-grandparents. And many of those peoples were not able or given the right to be able to have a sovereign First Nation here, as other recognized tribes were in other parts of California and other parts of the United States. We need a couple of people to help us with the covenant today. Is there anyone that would like to help us with reading of the covenant? Okay. Go ahead, just come over here. Yeah, you can share it. There's 2 slides.
Oh, there's 2 slides.
Go ahead, you can just read that slide and then we can move to the next one.
In solidarity with one another, we each affirm our dialogue is as an interfaith dialogue. We all have different communication styles and varying views. We commit to be in dialogue with respect for all, expanding, listening to hear multiple points of view. We realize that we are responsible for the growth of I4C, and each of us share a duty to interfaith growth. The governing board provides leadership, and the elected council works towards progress and the fulfillment of I4C goals as we grow.
We recognize that we are imbued with interfaith responsibility. As such, we commit to hold ourselves and each other accountable to merit that trust. Respect for the diverse traditions, beliefs, and spiritual paths of all those we encounter. Hold ourselves to the highest ethical standards and accountable to our communities and to 1-4C. Our shared time together is interfaith time. We commit to honoring the start and end times each time we meet.
Thank you, and Nancy, it's time for you to share if you want to come up.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nancy Beatty, and it's nice to be with you. It's been a while. I'm here to ask you all, do you feel a bit buried by the news coverage? Are you tempted to not watch the news because it's just too depressing? If so, and I've heard this from a lot of different people, it may be time to think of a different alternative. The Christian Science Church publishes the Christian Science Monitor, and the Monitor comes in 2 forms, one a daily that is online, and a weekly, which is like a magazine, a print form. And it's written in a non-denominational way. Its purpose is to injure no man, but to bless all mankind. We take that purpose very seriously. The paper was founded by Mary Baker Eddy, the founder of the Christian Science Church, to be a gift to the world. And so it has been and has been recognized with Pulitzer Prizes and so forth. So if any of you would like to get a free trial subscription, there is a way to do that. And Reverend Will has said that I can send an email to those of you who might like to find the online or the print version. One of the things that some of Reverend Will and Greg Kemeloff and I have participated in is supporting a kind of a trial experiment project The first one was called The Respect Project. And some of you might have heard that from me. And there was a video. It was a live, actually, Zoom presentation with editors from the Monitor and discussing the respect and articles that had been written especially for that. It was followed by one called the Resilience Project. And I've just learned from a meeting in Boston that this has been extremely successful, that people have read these articles more than any of the other articles in the paper. They're going to continue with a value approach, and that will start probably in September, and will start with compassion and courage. And it might be that maybe we decide that we would like to focus on courage and compassion in our community with examples. We could do it online or whatever, I don't know, but it's just a thought. And I'm sure my time is up.
Thank you.
But thank you for listening.
Thank you for sharing. I've been reading the subscription that I've gotten a bit lately, and it's been really good to see such good journalism sharing good stories. Reverend Julius. Rhonda's trying to get in, so she's going to be our next speaker. But while she's waiting, what's after that? Diane, why don't you come talk to this, and while we're waiting to get Rhonda connected on Zoom, because she wasn't able to make it in person. You want to come do the, I guess, 28th information?
Oh, yeah. So everyone, thank you for being here. The board is just so happy to have a fundraising extravaganza type event. We want to celebrate and party. We want to build, and with the theme of building a beloved community through a culture of care and change. The date for this event is August 28th at 6 o'clock at the Walnut Creek Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Ward House 2369 Overlook Drive, Walnut Creek. It's in our notes. It's in our notes if you have your agenda with you. We are going to have a fantastic guest speaker and special music. And we are asking everyone to think now of inviting your friends and your colleagues from your faith community. And the idea is if we can bring 5 people, for every 5 guests we bring, we can receive 1 complimentary ticket. The price of the ticket is $150, but this is a fundraiser for our wonderful Interfaith Council here in Contra Costa County. Just quickly, if you have, I have been doing a lot of the contacting for musicians, but you know how it is, things can fall through. But so if you have some wonderful singers, dancers representing your faith community, please let me know and I'll be glad to contact them. Send me their information. We also would like, if you would like to participate in this wonderful event and you have some skills that you think you could bring, we would love to have you contact me or Nadine, Christine Nadeau. The auction events and fundraising experience, anything to do with maybe setting up the tables, anything you think you can help us with, please bring your gifts and let us know that you can help us. Thank you. Okay.
That's great. We're trying to get Rhonda in, which is hard to do when I'm trying to, here she is. There she is. Oh, there she is. Thank you. All right, Rhonda, are you there? We're getting connected. We're gonna make it. Can you hear us?
Okay, there we go. Now you can hear me, right?
Success.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good to see you guys. Yeah. I don't know if I'm ready to go, Reverend Will, or
You are
anything else?
ready to go. Yeah, we're grateful for you to share, and we got you just in time.
Perfect, perfect. I'm glad it's working out. I am Rhonda Franklin, as you guys probably know by now. I'm with Impact Justice. We're a restorative justice organization, nonprofit, and the department that I'm part of, because we do have a few things that we are working on, like food in prison, which is huge right now. But my department that I'm in is called the Homecoming Project. So that's what I want to talk to you guys about today. Just share a little bit about what the organization is doing, what my roles are. I am now a senior program associate, which allows me to kind of go in a little bit deeper as far as, getting the word out. And I'm also the housing coordinator, which means that I match participants, folks that are formerly incarcerated, with regular folks like you and I in the community that are advocates, that are business owners, that are part of faith-based organizations that simply say yes to our program. So it's a big ask, right? How do you ask someone to have another person live with them that was in prison for 20 and 30 years? And so what I'm here to do today is to show you why this is working. So I have a short video that's about 4 minutes, 40 seconds that I want to show to you. And then I'm going to come back on, elaborate a little bit more, and answer all your questions. Reverend Will, how much time do I have? Because I can snapshot it real good.
You have 10 minutes total, so 4 minutes
Awesome.
is part of your 10 is great.
No problem. I got it. So
I just made you co-host, so you're ready to share.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm going to go into the video first, and then we can get into the last of it. Okay, can everyone see Alex on the screen?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Alex is our president. I'm gonna make sure I start from the beginning. Here we go. Uh-oh, is there sound? There's no sound? Oh, there it goes.
Impact Justice was founded in 2015 as a research and innovation shop. The idea being that if we're going to reduce our reliance on police, if we're going to end the over-incarceration of people, and to help those people who are leaving the system to be as successful as possible, we needed actionable ideas.
COVID-19 happened and really exposed this for what it is. You were seeing massive releases take place in the community with people having nowhere to go. And so this was an opportunity for us to really step up and show the gaps in housing. As a formerly incarcerated professional, and what I mean is I'm a professional in this field of criminal justice reform, and I have a formerly incarcerated background, I know all too well what it feels like to anticipate release and not know where you're going to land. Before you can start to connect to your community and connect to your family and really start to get a job, you need somewhere to live. Because our participants particularly are people that have been sentenced or served more than 10 years in prison, really what the Homecoming Project is doing is providing them a safe place to live in a community that they can begin to now start to put the pieces of their life back together. I got arrested 3 days after my 19th birthday. I'm 35 now. I lived all my adulthood in prison. I'm glad that I'm in this program because I knew that I was going to face challenges. It doesn't make me feel as overwhelmed because it lets me just be me and it's on my own pace.
Homelessness is one option of housing for people getting out of prison. Another one is transitional housing. Transitional housing is expensive. It has a lot of rules and regulations.
I went through transitional housing. I was able to see my family more when I was in prison than when I was in a transitional housing program. So that level of reintegration was not there.
I don't want anybody else having to come through that. I don't want them welcomed home with going from one institution to another. I want it to be more people-centered. That inspired me to get this house. I want somebody to come home and be really welcomed home. We could sit down and we could be a family and build relationships.
Most of my time in transitional, it was the same feeling I had in prison.
The difference is here, it's the first time there's really been like freedom, and it's hard to put into words the way I feel.
It makes all of our hearts flutter when we're able to say we have a 0% recidivism rate. So I think it's really important to say like what that means is literally everyone that's been into our program, none of them have re-entered prison.
How you been?
The Homecoming Project is built upon the ideas that we've learned from the sharing economy. You can go to an Airbnb tonight and know very little about the host. In the Homecoming Project, we actually put people in homes and we tell the participant, the person leaving prison, everything we can about the host, and they get to even meet and interview that host. And we tell the host everything we can about that participant.
I'm learning a lot of things that they actually go through just by listening. I just need to get to know more about what they have to deal with, and having patience and having the drive to want to help them even more.
The money that goes into our housing program goes back into the community, stimulating our local economy, helping housing stability for our homeowners, changing the narrative for how people look and view formerly incarcerated individuals. When someone builds a relationship to their community, to their host, then they become more invested. Then they become more excited about giving back and seeing it thrive. It makes the community safer.
We don't pick the successful people. I think we give people the opportunity to be successful. And when you give people that chance, when you give them the tools and the resources, then almost anything is possible. And that's what we're seeing.
I feel like every goal that I have set for myself is something new in my life, and it's something that I feel so proud. Today, when I'm able to set all those goals and accomplish them, even just a little thing, just to get my driver's license, I have never been able to do those things before.
We at Impact Justice lead with that there is a criminal justice problem in this country. You're here because there is a housing crisis. They are all connected. And I think what we are seeing more and more is that to solve the criminal justice problem requires more than just a criminal justice solution.
A real safe business theory is to not try to reinvent the wheel. At Impact Justice, we're going to try to reinvent that wheel.
Amazing.
Okay. Can you guys hear me good? Yeah. All right. What did you guys think about the video? It's pretty good, right? We won the Ivory Prize in 2021 for being innovative in housing. There is a housing crisis, and I'm sure you guys are aware of that. And so the folks that are coming out of prison, actually, they don't have anywhere to go. And so what happens in our program, we go into the prisons and we let them know that the program is available. We talk to correctional facilities. We talk to parole agents. There's referrals that come in from either host. The host is the homeowner, or there are referrals coming in from prior participants, which are the formerly incarcerated, and they're saying, hey, I did this program is great. So we're getting more and more participants. Where we have a huge ask is for the host. We need more rooms. So what happens is the host gets to meet the participant, have an interview with them, meet and greet, ask as many questions as you like, talk to them on the phone, meet them face to face. You get a full detail application, their application that they submitted to us. You get all of that information. So you get to talk about the things that are on that application. Why did you go to prison? We're not putting pedophiles and sex offenders in folks' homes, but this person may have committed murder, may have gone in for armed robbery. And so they've been in prison 10 or more years to be in our program. The minimum is because we're looking at lifers, and so lifers are sentenced to 10 or more years. On average, the person has done about 20 years in prison. What that means is that they have been institutionalized. They're coming out to a world that they do not recognize, and therefore need a lot of support on finding a job. How do you even fill out a resume? What is an app? And what do you mean download? How do you use a cell phone? Like the basic things that we take for granted that we're using every day. They have no idea how these things work, right? And so they are assigned a caseworker, so you don't have to do the work. We're not asking the host to help them re-enter in that way. But what the host does, and it's very subliminal, maybe subtle in a way, that participant is watching you. They see you get up in the morning and go to work. They see you cook dinner and provide, for your household. They see you clean and do all the different things that you do on a regular basis. Go to your organizations, go to church, socialize with your friends. And they are starting to internalize this and conceptualize this. And at the end of 6 months, the program is 6 months, we ask the host to have the participant for 6 months. At the end, something magical happens. The person then kind of starts imitating the host in their language, in their behavior, in their attitude. And we see them go from possibly post-traumatic stress to, I can see myself back in society thriving, right? It's amazing what happens. And so we encourage each of you to really look deep into the program. We're talking to the board today. Hopefully I can come out to your organizations and your churches and be able to give a pitch to the congregation. But that's why I'm here today, is to see who wants to do this, wants to know more about this, because maybe you don't want to do it yet, but maybe you're just interested to get more information. The host does get compensated a stipend. That's $30 a day, roughly $900 a month. It's not a lot of money, but we know that most people are doing this not for the money, right? I would say 80% of my hosts are doing this because they have a care for reentry, and they have a care for people. And so it's been absolutely amazing. No one has returned to prison. I don't know if you heard my coach there, Aisha too, said 0 recidivism. That means no one has gone back to prison in the 3 years that we've been doing this. We are expanding. Right now, we're only in Alameda County and in your county and Cocoa County, but we'd like to expand to LA and to San Francisco, and just really get the word out there. So that's why I'm here. I could take your questions for my last few minutes. I'm happy to answer any question that you have.
If you have a question, please step up to the computer, since this is kind of our talking area. That's where the microphone is.
Reverend Will, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
And then Carolyn.
Okay. Just wondering, how long has the program been around? Well, maybe it's 3 questions. How long has the program been around? How are you funded? And how many participants have you had go through the program?
Great questions. The whole entire organization of Impact Justice is roughly 6 years, a little bit over 6 years old. And the program, the Homecoming Project, is 3 years old. So it hasn't been that long, but the success has been no one returning to prison. We have had 77 folks in the program.
Wow.
77 people. And what we're finding out is that because they're receiving this level of support, they are going on to having their own apartments, getting promoted as supervisors on their jobs. They're buying cars. They are functioning in society like we do. But it took this intense kind of focus in order to support them and to get them there. That's
and your funding?
Oh, and the funding, that's the best part, the money, right? So philanthropists, folks that are, we got 3.5 million from Enterprise, which is a housing organization, not the Enterprise car. And they gave us, along with Wells Fargo, gave us 3.5 million. So that was like, let's go, people, right? And now we just got another from the Jewish Teen Foundation. I did an interview with these young people, amazing young people, and they have on their board teenagers that have funded for us and raised $15,000. I mean, it's just amazing. People love the program. They want to participate. Actually, 20,000, 5 went to Impact Justice, 15 went to the Homecoming Project. But yeah, folks are giving us money.
Rhonda, thanks so much. That's just beautiful. And I can see why they would want to give. Yes.
Yes, yes. Thank you, David.
One of the people in the homeless shelter we worked with had come out. He made $40,000 a year as an Amazon delivery person, but he had no place to live because he had 2 murder convictions. How do you screen these people? Do you screen them? How do you select who comes?
Yeah, sure. Great questions. So my role is to work with the host and to do what I'm doing right now. We do have a teammate, his name is Cruz. And so he works directly with the parole agents, and they're letting us know who's ready. And readiness starts in prison. When we see that they have done things in prison already to show that they're coming out, they're going to be looking for work. For example, they have certifications in prison. They've, completed a plumbing program or a computer software program. They have completed school. Maybe they've gotten their GED or they started some college courses. Whatever they're doing in prison is a huge indication that they're ready for reentry. So we're looking at that. Then we're looking at the actual crimes. Like I said, no pedophiles, no sex offenders. We're not placing anyone like that in someone's home. The folks that have shown their parole agent, I am different today, right? They're not getting in fights in prison, that their whole attitude has changed. And so that's part of the screening process. There is an application. And then so Cruz meets them. After all of that, it's like, okay, he rises to the top, she rises to the top. He still meets with them and interviews them and says, yeah, we can help this person because they're mentally ready. They've made a decision that they want to do different and they want to do better. So Cruz has been very good about that. We haven't had any issues. One person I would say had a relapse out of the 77 people because he had a substance abuse issue. It did not affect the host. We intervened and we got him into a treatment, but that was one person. Everyone else has moved on and graduated.
Charity has a question.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm looking in the right place here.
Yes, I can see you.
I came in late, but caught the amazing statistic about zero recidivism. It really got my attention. And I hope that you can copy and paste this program everywhere. It's, it's successful. My question is, are you available to do presentations to congregations, to faith communities? I know that Temple Isaiah, which is a large Jewish synagogue that I belong to in Lafayette, has a values and action group. And I know that they would love to hear what your program does, and it could be a source of hosts for you.
Absolutely. Yes, yes, and yes. Please.
Great. I'm smiling before I put my mask on. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the invitation. I'm happy to go there. I'd love to talk with you. I will put my information in the chat so you all can have it, but definitely, call me, text me, email me. I definitely want to get the word out. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Minutes for everyone. Thank you, Rhonda. And it looks like Christine has a question.
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much for being here today, Rhonda. That is great. I just want to give a plug for I have hosted a number of asylum seekers. And so I know how rewarding it can be to really be able to give this kind of help to people. So I just want to applaud you for what you're doing, and I will be in touch.
Thank you so much. That's awesome. I love it. And speaking of the rewarding part, I just want to close with this. That's really what this is about. It's the human connection, right? You all do this on a regular basis anyway. You volunteer, you're in the kitchens cooking for folks and serving folks and giving your help in one way or the other. This is just one more, or I should say another option for you to be able to give. And it's a huge ask, but the rewarding part that Christine was talking about, that's what we're seeing happening at the end of this. Folks are saying, I mean, I don't know if this is good or bad, and I'll end with this, but folks are like, I want to keep my participant. I'm like, but you won't be able to host anybody else. I need you to let go, so, but they really bond, and it's beautiful.
Rhonda, we've got a request that you put the link for the video into our chat room as well, so that we can get that to the Christian Science Monitor.
Absolutely.
We had a report on that this morning, and they're doing some reporting on compassion and a respect project that will want to interview you as well.
That's wonderful. It's on YouTube. It's Ivory Prize winner. Let me Control C here. And I'm sure I can, let me just go back. and then I'll put my information as well. Okay, that's the video, and I am Rhonda. My last name is Franklin. I am the housing. Well, I have a new title. I don't even know what my titles are.
Reverend Julius has a question for you too.
Hi, Rhonda, I thoroughly enjoyed your presentation.
Thank you.
I have one question.
Yes.
I've worked with Impact Justice a bit on juvenile matters.
With
And
the CJL?
yes.
Okay.
And I'm just wondering, because I love this this project. We are our former Director of Spiritual Care, Interfaith Juvenile Chaplain, Reverend Dr. Charles Tinsley, had a program. It was called Getting Out of Dodge, and it was basically about getting young people that needed to basically be removed from their environments to have hope. A lot of them went to college and things of that nature, and we still have the program, but we haven't, pandemic and all that kind of stuff, and we haven't been able to really do some of the things we'd like to do. I know that your program is for people that have been incarcerated for over 10 years, but in light of all the things that are going on, maybe we can possibly talk about connecting and maybe trying to work together to get some funding to do something for young people, especially with the 18 to 25, the transition age youth that we have going, that whole thing that we have going. Maybe we can partner about trying to do something for juveniles.
I'm saying yes. I know we're not there yet because we are.
Yeah, we aren't either.
But you know what? This is such a great idea, right? It's gonna help young people prevent prison. Like we want to help on the preventing side as well.
Exactly.
So we definitely need to have a conversation. Please email me. Cell phone is there, you guys. And if I don't answer, text me. I will call you back within 24 hours. I'm very diligent about that. So yes, please, you guys reach out. I'd love to be fully booked on seeing each of your organizations. But thank you so much. I had a wonderful time being here, and Reverend Will, thank you for the time.
Rhonda rocks. Thank you. Rhonda rocks.
You guys are great.
Thank you.
All right. Have a great day. Reverend Will, I'll reach out to you later.
Sounds great.
Okay. Thanks again, guys. Have a good one.
So good. That was excellent.
Yeah, that was great. That was great. So before our dialogue for the day, we will have our committee report highlight for June, which will be ICHANGE. Reverend Alexandria Spearman will be coming to give that report. However, I would like to note that all of our program reports are in writing here within our agenda, including a report from our new development chair, it's Christina Doe. And so we'll only hear from ICHANGE for this month's verbal report.
Hello, everyone. Can I see? Ah. Good morning. Good morning. Okay. Oh, there I am. Hi. I know, because I can't even see it here. So, okay. So I will begin with our ICHANGE program report. I will note, if you received the handout, there are some changes, just some slight changes in the language. And this report was prepared by both Meg Keeley and myself. Thank you to her. The realignment of incarcerated transition age youth. Let's get actually here. Being transferred from state to county facilities began last summer. This way. The Department of Probation communicated their need for programming and mentors for these youth, and we felt some urgency to respond to this need. Consequently, we completed the development of training materials and recruited and trained a group of potential mentors starting in February. We were unable to predict the following issues which have held back our progress in starting our mentoring program. COVID, dun, dun, dun. COVID variants and outbreaks causing continued hold on allowing visitors to enter our juvenile hall. Changes in personnel and responsibilities at the Department of Probation. A slow process of volunteer screening required and administered by Department of Probation. If you've worked in government, you know how slow they can be. The new California sexual abuse prevention legislation. We had a meeting for this and a training just a few weeks ago with the Interfaith Council. And if you were there, then you learned about it. It's the Assembly Bill 506, AB 506. And these requirements are for child abuse reporter training and screenings by the state. There is also a need to develop protocol for ourselves in learning to observe for child abuse and to report. Let's see. I need to update probation's training for new volunteers, which is shifted to our spiritual care, identifying issues and appropriate personnel to work with to address logistics, which includes time to allow newly appointed spiritual care liaison to get acclimated. There are also some shifting priorities at the Department of Probation with a few unfinished business tasks. While we have been in a holding pattern, we have communicated regularly with our mentor cohort and have met twice to provide updates on program, additional training, and information on the child abuse reporter training requirements. At this time, we will not be actively recruiting potential ICHANGE mentors until we have worked through the above and have piloted our mentoring program with the current cohort of mentors. Since developing our initial concept of our program, we have made some adjustments in our expectations of our mentors. They will no longer be required to meet with youth once they leave juvenile hall. This means that their time committed to youth will begin upon match and extend until the youth is released from the juvenile hall. Now, this extension is in development, as we know that some sentences can extend from 1 to 10 plus years. We acknowledge that while we can help youth to prepare for reentry before they leave the juvenile halls, the complexity of their needs will require professional guidance and services from different organizations and agencies in the community. Our mentors will help youth to identify their needs, and the support services they need will guide them in their transition to these more sustainable supports upon their exit. We will continue to identify community-based programs that will support youth once they are released and make efforts to develop relationships with these agencies in order to help facilitate the transition to these services by our youth. So Impact Justice, we're gonna really get into, into the work with them. On myself, since I have been working diligently to develop a foundation that will prepare our program for sustainability. The following actions have been taken. I'm meeting with Meg and Reverend Julius regularly to learn, continue identifying, and laying the groundwork for a sturdy foundation. Touring the Martinez Juvenile Hall, securing and redesigning the chaplain's office, and identifying visitor protocol and policies. This also includes the Byron Boys Ranch. Meeting Chief Probation Officer, Ms. Isa M. Kraus, and attending Juvenile Justice Coordinated Committee meetings and Data and Services Subcommittee meetings. Meeting with new probation director and manager, Ms. Malkia Crowder and Ms. Tamara Guzman-Taylor. Meeting also with the multidisciplinary staff leadership for a well-rounded understanding of the institution, what it provides and how it can be of service and of support, how we can be of service and support per their request. Meeting with and corresponding with the new spiritual care liaison, Mr. Greg Quesada, responding to community requests to learn of ICHANGE, including accompanying Reverend Julius to Alhambra High School to do presentations in Ms. Jen Fennell's law course, as well as world religions and psychology. And they have been quite exhilarating. Let's see. Here, students were able to learn about the ICHANGE, these specific ICHANGE aspects. Interfaith ministry, the process of juvenile incarceration, spiritual care through juvenile chaplaincy, and our services for mentoring and reentry. We have accepted 2 congregational speaking engagements, completed mandated child abuse reporter training, and developed an assessment form for data collection. Reverend Julius.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Reverend Alexandria. I just want to say, add a couple things with our verbal report. First, I would like to once again publicly acknowledge our amazing volunteer and mentor coordinator. And basically, we have a heart, mind, soul, body of ICHANGE. And it's a committee, Meg, Reverend Alexandria, and myself. And we don't know which is which yet, but Meg, you can be the heart, the body, the mind, the soul. But we just want to appreciate you for all of your work, all of your ability, and for working with us as staff. You've just done a phenomenal job. And and also with supporting me personally as well. And I just would like for the entire elected council to know that. We're really excited about having Reverend Alexandria. We're grateful to have gotten the funding to do that. And she has done a phenomenal job since she has been on staff. You can see here in the report all of the wonderful things that we've been able to do. I did just want to highlight that while we were going in to see the youth, we made some great connections. We made some really great connections. We were able to supply prayer mats for our Muslim students. We were able to get a Quran for another seeking Muslim student. We purchased an African-American Heritage Bible for a Christian seeking student who has now become a Muslim seeking student. And we will be providing whatever he needs in addition to that prayer rug. So things are moving. And I'd like to share that publicly because even our youth are interfaith. That's why it's so important. The work that we do because and being part of the Interfaith Council, because we're able to supply these things. One thing that we're going to be doing is doing a drive for religious materials from different congregations so that we can have those things on hand. I even got asked for a Russian Orthodox Bible, which we were unable to secure, but we got the next best thing. So we will be doing that. Moving and in the future, we will be doing different congregational initiatives to get different groups of congregations to help us. We will be, and I'm just combining spiritual care along with ICHANGE because we've just done some great things and we really need your support. So that's important. I also like to add that Reverend Alexandria and we've been talking about data for so long, but we have gotten our system together to start gathering and collecting data. I don't know if the pie charts didn't make it.
They're in the PowerPoint.
Oh, they're in the.
And we're ready to show that whenever you're ready.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm sorry. I just heard the part about verbal and I jumped in.
No worries. No worries.
I'm not used to this hybrid thing. I haven't seen you all.
We're just getting used to it ourselves. In fact, where did it go? There it is. The fundraising dinner, there's your information about that, and especially those questions that Diane asked. And then there's our reports.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you, Reverend Julius. No, it's all teamwork. Right, as we said, we're not sure whose hands, heart.
Mind and soul.
Right, we're all together as one, okay? All parts of the body. So let's see. So these are the ICHANGE results. So while we haven't been able to bring in our mentors, both Reverend Julius and I have been able to serve. And so here are some of the collected data results from an assessment form. Let's see.
Just to the right.
I'll just go ahead. Okay, so some of just this one. Okay, perfect. I just want to run through some of the questions asked on the assessment form. They'll give a name, an email, a date, your activity. Well, you'll see them. Okay, so For activities, we have 21.7% of our visitations out of 23 visitations, 12 by myself, 11 with Reverend Julius in combination. 21.7% have been a topic of life skills, 17.4 are life skills and spiritual counseling, and 8.7 include spiritual counseling, music and art, as well as prayer, relationship building. We've even had a birthday celebration that we've been able to celebrate with the youth, which is very exciting. And a movie night with myself. I've joined the young girls in Shasta in their unit and had a chance to
Alexandria
share.
is our first female interfaith juvenile chaplain in juvenile hall in 50, 60 years. So this is a important.
Wow. Yes.
Yes.
It is. That's good. And because of that, I felt such a great need to meet with the young girls, to meet with the young ladies, so that they would also know that they are cared for. Let's see. We asked for associated religious faith of the youth. As we mentioned, so far we have 95.7, well, there's a small group. So Christian and Muslim. Let's go on. Let's see. This is the same. We're hoping to add more as we go along. Let's see. So we asked if small group ministries were conducted, and I said yes, this would be the movie night. So as you can just see, we're able to conduct or share where. Also, we've provided visitation. So this is inside the unit. This would be the movie night. And the purpose of the movie night really was to do relationship building. And this was with the girls unit. So this is on just getting to me. When they saw me, they said, "Oh, you're from the church?" I said, yes, I am. And so getting to know each other in just a casual setting before you can really get into the deep dive of spiritual questions. So as you can see, we have, do we minister in a team? And then these are results. If you ministered in a team with who, it is the two of us. You can see why data collection needs to be correct all the way across. We're learning and working on it. And that, and then I'll say lastly on our assessment form, there are the two questions, and then I'll conclude. They're very important questions. Did you encounter issues conducting your visit? So please explain and notify a staff at the number given. So this section is just to notify us if there are any issues and to notify probation staff. We all work in collaboration. And then the last, oh, excuse me, I'm turning the page, is for additional notes where you can share the topic of the session, career-related inquiries, resources requested, and further so that staff, future staff, we can know exactly what you need and how we can provide our youth with their best. And so I thank you all. If there are any questions, I think Reverend Julius is going to come back in with more.
Thank you so much, Reverend Alexandria. And before we go into our dialogue, I also like to say that right after this meeting, I will go into my first meeting as a community advisory board member, representing the faith-based organization. And the reason why I took this position, this council position, was for my input, because I was asked to. They reached out to me out of looking throughout all of Contra Costa County and talking to all of the county supervisors that they tried to contact. No one followed through. And so someone mentioned my name, and so here we are. And they're going to be giving out monies for faith-based initiatives. So that's something I'd like to just put out there, because I'd like to discuss that with you all to take that back to the Community Advisory Board. Thank you so much. And that's been our long but beautiful report.
Yeah, ask for money.
Yes, we're going to ask for money from the Community Advisory Board. All right. So moving forward, our dialogue of the day. Our question is, what ministries does your congregation or faith tradition have in serving the incarcerated and those who are returning citizens? What we're going to do today. What we're going to do today, and I must tell you, it feels so good to be in this hybrid environment and be able to see people. We're going to have a group discussion in light of time, and especially because it's kind of been our theme for the day. What ministries does your congregation or faith tradition have in serving the incarcerated and those who are returning citizens? So those who are online, we'd like to go ahead and utilize our raise hand option.
Use the reactions.
The reactions. The reactions. And we can go ahead and call on you if you have something to say as
and
well.
Those that want to come here, if you want to stand, you can just line up here if you want to ask a question.
The Christian Science Church has had Christian Science chaplains to the various prisons throughout the country for many, many, many years. But in the last 2 years, a new organization has been formed. It's in its infancy and it's called Embraced Fully. And this is for those who've been incarcerated returning to the communities.
Wonderful. Anyone else? Now, if we were in small groups, we'd at least be conversing. I was gonna call on you, Christine.
Thank you. Well, you know, I'm grateful for this question because it makes me realize I just assumed because we have such a small congregation, probably about 20 to 25 at this point, of elderly folks, that we don't actively do anything. But it caused me to look up for the Episcopal Church, what the Episcopal Church does. And yes, the Episcopal Church has prison ministries. So now I'm going to look more into that. So thank you for asking the question.
Wonderful. All right, Dennis.
Yeah, thank you for the question, Reverend Julius. Our St. Bonaventure's Catholic Church is we're very close to the sheriff's facility out on Marsh Creek Road. And it's I believe, I don't know that much about the ministry, but I do know that it's called Caritas. And our people go there on a regular basis every Sunday and have a service, a communion service, and also a liturgy of the word service. And that's been going on for years and years and continues to this day. Thanks.
Thank you. Well, I do know that when I was growing up, we had a beautiful program, and I'd like to, actually something we can do here. It's kind of like what we're doing with our pen pal program. It was called Friends on the Outside, and our women's missionary group would get all kinds of things, socks and toiletry items and whatever you could bring in, and would take them to that was for shelters. Friends on the that was for the shelters. Friends on the Outside. They for the prison, I think they would take things like that to them too. Actually, yeah, because prison is different than juvenile hall. Yeah, they would do things like that, kind of like we did with our pen pal program, with just people that you don't see them, but they're able to really have an impact as well too. So that was something that I like. Terry?
So I really appreciate the question a lot. It's very thought-provoking. I wish I could list all the things that our synagogue has done, and I know before, but I can't. I know a few years ago when our Values in Action group, people who are involved in social justice, were looking at different topics or things, problems in the world that we wanted to address. One of them was incarceration and the criminal justice system. We approached it more from a lobbying point of view and a legislative point of view. But then COVID happened and everything changed. But I'm really, it's something I'm going to bring back because there were a couple of real champions on this who were really passionate about it. And there may be opportunities now for us to get directly involved. Our emphasis has been on Afghan refugees and on, you know, the crisis du jour, and with so many people in need, you know, the Ukrainian refugees and so on. We do have a lot of, you know, work at home that we could be doing. And so maybe as things start opening up, this is something that I could bring, you know, back to the Values in Action team. So thank you.
Hi. So my church, I have two. It's a home church and then a daughter church that are connected. So the True Faith Community Baptist Church in Antioch, California, and Allen Temple Baptist Church in Oakland, California, has sent delegates, myself being one of them, to Washington, D.C. on a lobbying, logistic, also point of view perspective on incarceration with the Samuel DeWitt Proctor Conference and a part of the Poor People's Campaign to lobby against some incarceration bills and fighting against recidivism and such. And so there are some legislative actions we take and send our youth and young adults on to campaign and advocate in that focus and in that field. Yes.
I'll share a little bit about what my congregation has done as well. Every year, my congregation takes some donations for Christmas gifts through the Angel Tree for kids of those that are incarcerated to make sure that they have a Christmas. That's one thing that we've done. I was a part of the California Religious Leaders Against Solitary Confinement and Torture. And I spoke before the California State Assembly about solitary confinement as a form of torture and increasing the depth of mental illness that those that are incarcerated experience rather than being a more reformational system. And against the three strikes policies that are inside our California jails, where the prison guards actually have more control over the longevity of a sentence of many of those incarcerated, because all it takes is 3 strikes of being counted as a member of a gang. And they have found some prison guards actually falsifying some of those records to punish certain people that they've been going after. So that's some of the internal reform that I've been a part of in thinking about how do we make our prisons more reformational rather than punitive, and really rethinking the punitive nature of them, which really does break people rather than reform them and help them rebuild their lives. So that's some of the work that I've done. Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Jenny Ollie with the Walnut Creek Baha'is, and I know we have some Rossmore people who have been involved with interviewing with incarcerated people that are being released so that they can, you know, do better when they go for job applications. And I'm not that familiar with the other local spiritual assemblies in the county or in the Greater Bay Area, but I'm sure that we have people that are involved in this on a weekly or daily basis. Thank you.
And I'm just recognizing before Christine, if I could just share some of the things that are in the chat room for those of us that haven't seen them. Sharon said, my apologies, I need to attend a work emergency. Blessings for this toasty day, and thank you for all the good work you do. From Okello, our brother in Uganda, Pentecostal church in Uganda, we go doing on Sundays to inmates, counseling, pray for them, share word of hope, distribute love gifts. Celia shares, many years ago, I was a dorm mother at Camp Parks, and that B'nai Shalom has been working with refugees for the past few years. Okello shares, however, COVID-19 has affected and brought limitations to those outreaches. So, and we will make sure that the information and contact and links from Rhonda are in the minutes so that you can share them with others.
Thank you all for your input, and Will, thank you so much for telling us about what you are doing. I actually have a question based on Reverend Alexandria's presentation for ICHANGE. She mentioned that you've done presentations at Alhambra High School, and it made me realize, wow, this could be very powerful for young people in high schools or even like Contra Costa College. And I'm assuming that somebody knew one of the teachers and offered, to come in and talk about this. And I was just thinking, what a great way, again, to get youth involved. And I was wondering if Julius or Alexandria have any comment about that.
Yes, I think that's a great idea. And I was just speaking with Terry Moss about chatting briefly about the Jewish young people's program. And I think that's an amazing way for young people to be partners and just understand what some of their counterparts are going through and join in with some of the work that we do in different ways. Some can raise money, some can write letters, some can do different things. So I think that's thank you for highlighting that as well. We enjoyed ourselves there. I think Reverend Will, do you know Jen, the teacher? Mm-hmm. Yes, Reverend Will.
I presented there too, so did Felicity and a few others.
Right, yeah, she did mention that Felicity presented and Reverend Will has presented there before. And so we were invited for her, what was it? The first class, World Religion and Psychology. And she invited us back to speak to her law and justice class. So that was really nice. We even talked about possibly working with the high school to do mindfulness and just spiritual care. So you never know, we might start a club. So thank you for that, Christine. Thank you. Meg Keeley, and I know that she actually graduated. She received a certificate. I wanted to do it, but my plate was so full. But I'm still looking into it. The Catholic Restorative Justice Network offers graduate programs and certificate programs on restorative justice and spiritual care. As Meg has a certificate in restorative justice through their program, and they offer that also with conjunction with one of their universities. I think it's the Santa Clara one, but that's really good as well. Anyone else? All right, well, we see that we do have much work to do, but we thank you for all who are joined in the fight.
So she can start closing my question.
And so before I read our benediction, so my closing reflection is that we're moving, things have changed for all of us in light of what's been going on in the world. And I think it was Nancy who said, we don't know if we even want to watch the news, because I honestly haven't really watched it in a couple years on a basis like I used to, 5 a.m. Because of all the things that have been going on since the pandemic and all the grief and everything that we've all experienced. So I can be honest and say that really did. Thank you for sharing that because I will be reading the Monitor. I have to find other ways to get my news. I just read it online. But in light of all that's going on in the world, and Terry was also saying about all the different things that her synagogue is doing and bringing some focus back home. The whole world is experiencing things. But it helps us realize that as much as we are different, it's also as much as we are alike. I remember one time when I was in Israel, they wanted, I'm working with we're going to be following up, working with a program for youth around trauma. There was a pilot in Chicago, and they were saying that growing up in Chicago with all of the gun violence was equivalent to all of the bombings and a lot of the wars, just different things that the Israeli youth deal with on a daily basis as well. And sitting there in that room in Israel, I realized that we are all one body, one blood, one creation, and we all experience different things. So thinking about the people that were incarcerated in the Homecoming Project program, and all the work that we're continuing to do and all that have participated in iCare and ICHANGE, is that we have to continue this work as an interfaith council to spread peace and be the light in a very dark place that we inhabit. But the good news is that as we, light begets light, and as we continue to share our light with others, the world continues to become lighter. So our interfaith benediction for today. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face, and the rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may the divine hold you in the hollow of their hand. Amen. Ashe. It is so.
Amen. And we want to recognize a few more additions to our chat room. Christine sharing, I was looking forward to attending in person, but wasn't feeling great. So thank goodness for Zoom. I had individually wrapped cookies for everyone. Maybe the next time we do a hybrid in December, we could do that, but the cookies might not be good. So you may want to share those with your church friends in the meantime. But we're back on Zoom for the next 2 months, and we'll be doing another hybrid like this, and maybe we'll feel more comfortable being in each other's presence then. Ekanatha shares, wonderful to see so many people involved in reforming the previously incarcerated Hindu community. Strongly supports giving everyone a chance to do good and be good. Our past actions do impact what we do, yet that doesn't suggest we cannot improve. Thanks for all the great work. Treatment with equity, dignity, and respect is essential to our work. And as Celia reminds us, we should watch the news and not forget Ukraine, as we have forgotten Afghanistan, Syria, and so much. We do belong to each other. And I'll just share that the Interfaith Councils in the Bay Area are going to use a part of the $10,000 grant that came to all of us to create some interfaith public service announcements. One against anti-Semitism, one against AAPI hate, one against Islamophobia. And we hope that once we get these first 3 done over the next 2 or 3 months, and that you'll share them with people in your faith communities, and that we can create a movement to addressing real hate in our communities as well. And so thank everyone for being here, and thanks for being a part of it, because this is your council. And thanks for helping us experiment with doing it as a hybrid, even in this space. It's a little strange. We made it through a whole meeting. We didn't know if this was possible, but we know it's possible now. So thank you so much. Have a great day.
This isn't sad. How can we get
Reverend Will?
Yes, David?
Are we going to have a governing board planning meeting now? Or should